The private sector organization of Jamaica is facilitating discussions on how small and medium-sized enterprises can survive during this pandemic. Joining us now via Skype is Rochelle Cameron. She's project lead on the Access to Finance panel. Good morning, Rochelle.
Good morning, Delia. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well, my love. All right, so first of all, tell us about the Access to Finance facilitation panel. Exactly what is it and what are the objectives?
So the initial objectives of the panel was to increase access to finance for small and medium-sized enterprises. So this panel puts together several experts, economic experts, legal experts, etc. And it was to bridge the gap between banks and small businesses to increase the access that small businesses have to finance. Because as we know, small businesses are a key economic driver for our nation.
Yes.
The project has pivoted to facilitate access to finance but also to help SMEs during this COVID-19 epidemic. As several businesses have had to close their doors and small business operators are grappling with how to navigate through this time. So the project now is focused on assisting small and medium-sized enterprises and micro-enterprises with navigating the COVID epidemic, through the epidemic and post-epidemic.
So for the entrepreneurs who are watching, how can they participate in the COVID Cast JA program?
So every Thursday at 4 p.m. on the PSOJ website, on the PSOJ Facebook page, we host a Facebook Live. And we so far have done the first one. We looked at tips for the SMEs, tips with dealing with your bankers, tips with dealing with your landlord, ensuring that you remember that cash is king. So you need to liquidate your inventory, have a sale. How do you collect your receivables during this time? Because you need to have money. But also we touched on how do you manage your employees at this time. Last week, Thursday, we had the bankers. So the bankers were talking about the COVID relief packages that the various banks are providing, lines of credit, increase in funding, reduced interest rates, payment deferrals, moratoriums, etc. Tomorrow, Thursday at 4 p.m., we will have two expert HR specialists, Carla Ann Harris-Roper, who is an attorney at law and principal of Employment Matters Caribbean, and Michael McAnuff-Jones, who is a member of Hermage, part of the executive of Hermage, and an HR expert. And we're going to be looking at the legal considerations for the human resource issues and dealing with employees at this time. People are, should I be laying off? What is a redundancy? How do I deal with my employees at this time? We're going to be looking at the policies that you need to have in place to manage your employees working from home. And we're actually under the umbrella of compassion, showing compassion for your employees, collaborating with your employees, and consistent communication. So we'll be going through various issues that SMEs are grappling with now to deal with their employees. For each of our...
No, go ahead, Rochelle.
For each of our broadcasts, we prepare a paper with key tips. So we did a paper for the general SME recommendations, one with the bankers, and there's also one that's going to be distributed widely to SME organizations across Jamaica that look at the HR issues.
All right, what are the businesses talking about mainly? I've heard you mention HR. And in terms of layoffs and how do they navigate that process, are there other things, lines of credit? What are the other things that are the major concerns?
So one of the key concerns is how do I deal with my payables at this time? My business has suddenly closed. I had a location that I paid rent. What am I to do at this time? Because there's no revenue that's coming in. So one of the key things we've said is that small businesses need to take the time to actually prepare what we call your story. Because there are going to be various conversations that are necessary, various conversations with your suppliers, because there are suppliers that monies need to be paid to, with your banker to deal with issues of your loans and how you're going to pay things like your mortgage, conversations with your landlord. because in many instances, we've seen SMEs in plazas, for example, come together and the landlord has made particular concessions to give payment holidays or reduction in payments over a period of time. So it's really a collaborative time. But people, can you imagine that you were going along with your business, you may have had a business plan, you planned what your receivables would be, and suddenly between Thursday and Monday,
and
no
then it's
business.
gone. Yeah.
It's like that.
It really is. It can be a scary time, but it can be a time when collectively we make it the best of times. And I think that's what the PSOJ is striving to do for people who want to participate. Can you remind them again when, where do they log into your COVID Cast, JA?
You can follow us on the Instagram page, the PSOJ Access to Finance Panel page. Log into the PSOJ Facebook page for the Facebook Live. So we are on Instagram. You can follow our page. But in terms of watching the live, come on to Facebook to watch the live. What we also do is that the entire broadcast remains up for a while, so you can go back and watch it. And we also create snippets. And very importantly, we create documents that you can go through and ask the questions and have some guidance. Because what we are right now, we're in an organization that what we are doing is supporting our small businesses. We want as many small businesses to come out on the other side of COVID successful. I heard apparel warehouse earlier. There are several businesses too that are also making a switch and pivoting their business to provide much needed services during COVID. So we're also encouraging that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rochelle. It's a time, as I told apparel warehouse, where a lot of small businesses, because you're trying to meet the bills, meet the payroll, you don't have the time to sit down and organize yourselves in the way that you should, and COVID is going to give them that opportunity to put everything in place so that they can come out stronger. Thank you so much, my love, for the work that you continue to do.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Rochelle Cameron, project lead on the Access to Finance panel. Still to come, what's a quarantine without cooking? We're going to have a quarantine cook-off and how you can maintain your hair while at home. News in 5 is next.